Book 1, Jesse Webb, Traders Pro. Let's take a look at current market conditions here. Got that stock up, I'll come back to that. Current market conditions, bullish in a bear market. We're getting very, very close here, negative 176 to this line. It's not impossible to sometimes get false signals on this. During this last uptrend, this really long bull market, we would get, some of these pullbacks, they're calling for a downturn, but then we immediately get a reversal and it starts to move back up again. One of the things as traders and as trend followers is we've got to be very flexible to change and not necessarily be married to our own ideas, because that ultimately can cost us money if we're trying to be, would you rather make money or would you rather be right? So those are we're not trying to prove anything in terms of following trends. We're just simply following what the market is doing, and if it continues to move higher, we stay on board. If it rallies up and then turns back down again, then we jump ship. So that's giving us this long-term perspective here, and during this uptrend we've seen that where it looked like it was going to go bearish, then it immediately turned, and we can jump back in and capture the largest portion of those trends. We don't have to necessarily catch the turn, but if we catch the majority of the trend, once it does turn, that is when we can make the majority of our profits. Now, in those transitions from times where it's shifting from a bull market to a bear market, or a bear market to a bull market, that can create some whipsaw action. You get a signal here and then it immediately turns back down, then you get a sell signal here and then it turns back up. That's maybe on the longer term signals, or on the shorter term signals, but on the longer term signals that can also happen. So that being said, we still are building this really long base for the last year now, and we'll see if we continue to get some bullish momentum there. We are seeing, any pullbacks are being bought into, any gaps lower are being bought into. That's a bullish sign as well that we want to keep an eye on. That's still the bias. When I talk about bias, this is the bias. Trading bullish in a bear market. If it were bullish in a bull market, obviously that's going to be, we could even take bigger position sizes, we could maybe buy more shares, more aggressive type stocks. But in this case, we're bullish in a bear market. We still want to be a little bit neutral to a bullish bias. Okay, buying stocks with tight stops and a little bit smaller positions. Still, we may be getting closer to being able to be a little bit more aggressive, but not quite yet. The buy-sell ratio, we're kind of flat right here. This is just indecision. It's just chopping around. It's not it's not abnormal. It's also not surprising that we've seen that with inflation, the Fed, and everything that's happening. Markets are just not getting a whole lot of clarity, and this is a visual representation of a lack of clarity. Once we really get that clarity one direction or the other, we can you'll see some momentum that'll really start to move in that direction. Back to the bullish side though, again here on our buy-sell ratio, which is good. Our Dow index, we're seeing, one of the things too I wanted to mention is the rank. When we talk about this page, this index page, we go industrials and S&P index. It's sorted by the rank right here, and this rank represents the average rank of the stocks in that group, in that index. So in this case, the average rank of Dow stocks is 68, which is the highest of all of the indices that we're tracking here. S&P 500 or S&P 100 not too far behind. So we're seeing some bullish, again, these are bullish, major bullish tones for major indices, Dow Industrial Average and S&P 100. Some of these others, obviously, the more stocks you have, you have more to average in, and so you're going to have a lot more that are up and a lot more that are down. So the numbers here are going to affect that rank to some degree. Nonetheless, we're still relatively bullish, good strong buy-sell ratio on the industrial stocks here currently as of today. Let's jump over to the muscle stocks group. WFRD oil stocks. Seeing oil stocks starting to move back up again, and that's kind of been the theme now for the last year, is oil and gold, and we've seen some tech, and here's a basic material stock. This is a nice looking pattern, good solid confirmation buy bar right here. Okay, and we're back. We're in this buy zone location. That's the ideal setup, particularly after a long consolidation phase. And if it looks like we could get a breakout, that's probably the most interesting stock in the top 5 new buys today. Some of these others, again, this is a good example of not kind of waiting for that signal, because you get a lot of chop, a lot of mess right here. A lot of times we as traders, we have so much FOMO, where we're thinking, oh man, I should have bought here, I should have bought here. Why didn't I get a signal here buying at the bottom? You almost have to just close your eyes when it comes to where the stock has been in some cases, and because then you think, well, I could have, I should have, I would have, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter what you could have or should have, it's what is happening right now. And so you get this signal, and waiting for that signal to happen. As long as it stays green, you're in. If it moves back to yellow, then that's pause, that's caution, maybe that's sell half the position. However you're choosing to manage the money, then this is a very helpful process to be able to watch for that. And we're rounding out the top few here on that list, are not too bad. This is an example of kind of a choppy whipsaw buy signals in a bear market. And that's why buying in a bear market is frustrating, because these don't work, and eventually it's going to work. It's just not focusing on, there's going to be some stocks that do break down in a bear market. It's just a lot harder conditions to be able to trade. So if you're frustrated, if you're feeling some stress of the last year, take a step back. Just remember that it doesn't last forever, and to not be overly aggressive trying to force things that normally work, because bear markets just create situations that break a lot of things. Normal breakout patterns don't work, continuation patterns don't work, a lot of things just don't work. So we may be entering back, within the next few weeks or months, of some additional upside. One of the things I also wanted to mention is I like to set up a lot of scans. The new buy lists are relatively generic. There's a lot of stocks that show up in that list. So what you can do then, and the point of that is to give you a starting point, to look for stocks, to look for opportunities that are there. But you can take the screener, and I'll go in and I'll set up a lot of different scans. One of the ones I like is a fundamental type scan, where you've got essentially all green stocks that are moving up, and they're green. So that takes that list from a lot larger list down to 34, where I've got stocks that have all green, and I can set up all of the fundamentals in there. I can set up my buy signal. I can really start to fine tune the trades that I want to start to look for. And you can do that in the scans, and then it'll pull that list up here, and you can just scroll through those. So for example, one of these all greens up, you're getting that setup. All the fundamentals are green, and all of the trends are green. And you can look through that list and see those are good quality big cap names, good fundamentals, and the trends are setting up nicely. So don't be intimidated by the number of stocks showing up in these scans, because they're designed to be pretty broad and general, where you can then go in, and I would just simply set this up with my criteria here. I've got share dollars or share price $3 or more, market cap, volume, all my green, my fundamentals are green, and then here I've got my buy signal, I've got my long-term trend up. So you can mix and match. You can do a lot of really powerful scans on the setup. We also have the 21 scans, which are predefined scans that I've set up for you here, and these are a lot of scans that I like to use. A lot of times those are daily scans. You look for volume up 200%, ROE greater than the year change, sales growth 20%. So it's just kind of prepackaged in terms of the overall settings on the scan, but you can also create your own here as well. So if you don't have full access to that powerful tool, you can sign up with the link below. That's going to give you access to everything we talk about in these videos, and we look forward to having you. Have a great day today.